So today I'll be talking more on the Mandala concept, and the mythology of Nakshatras. So more on how the deities has been associated with the constellations that's moving around the pole star. So you can see the screen, right? I will just share. I'll just move the presentation. Yeah. So as you are aware, the Earth revolves around the Sun with an axial tilt of 23.5 degree, and then it is moving on elliptical path. So that's the reason we are having seasons. So we have winter solstice. So it's a time when the northern hemisphere people will be having winter, and then they'll be having a lesser sunlight. And then we have summer solstice, wherein there will be more sunlight for people living in northern hemisphere. And then we have equal days and nights. That's in September and March. So they are called as vernal and autumnal equinox. So this is the just basic concept. So this is very important, wherein you can just see, I just got this picture from a NASA site. So apart from the revolution, so we also have something called as axial precession. It's called as wobbling. So Earth, apart from moving or revolving around the Sun, it also wobbles just like a spinning top. So the cycle is 26,000 years. So we don't have the Tropic of Cancer or Capricorn lying in same place. So as it changes, the climate is getting changed. So even if you see the pole star, right? So pole star currently is Polaris. So the Earth axis is pointing to Polaris now. That's with the 23.5 degree tilt. But if you see 3000 BC, or maybe go back 5000 years back, the pole star was Thuban. So that's wherein the pyramids were constructed, which was aligned perfectly to the North Star. So if you go still further back, maybe around 12,000 BC, the pole star was Vega. So the pole star also is changing, and then the axial tilt also is getting changed. So this is the reason we have people getting migrated from places to place, which I'll just cover as introduction. It's a fact that it was not a desert about 12,000 years back. So it was in Greenland, wherein there was huge lakes, and then it's a desert now. So the concept is very simple. So Earth is moving in an elliptical path. We have seasons. And then apart from the Earth moving in elliptical path, so it is also doing a wobbling with an 26,000 years cycle that we call as yugas in Hindu belief system. So currently, the Earth axis is pointing to Polaris. So you can just see the Earth axis is pointing to Polaris. And then we have equator just below India here. Then we have Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. Since the Earth is revolving around the Sun in elliptical path, so it appears that the Sun moves from Tropic of Cancer, from equator to Tropic of Capricorn. We call it as Dakshinayana in Hindu belief system. And then when the Sun is moving from Tropic of Capricorn towards Tropic of Cancer, we call it as Uttarayana. So Uttarayana is nothing but it appears that if you see the day sky, right, it appears that Sun is moving towards north. So we have the famous chariot festivals. So when the Sun is moving from Tropic of Capricorn towards Tropic of Cancer, that's where the position of Sun is there near the star constellation of Cancer zodiac, or the Capricorn or Makara zodiac. We call it as Makara Sankranti, wherein we have chariot festivals. They'll pull the chariots towards north, reflecting that Sun is moving towards north. Similarly, we have the chariot festivals in Orissa. That's wherein we have Tropic of Cancer. So when Sun is moving towards south, we have it as Dakshinayana. Again, we have festivals associated with this transit, and there are chariot festivals. So if you observe very closely, right, you find almost all the religious structures, right? So that's been aligned perfectly to North Star. So it's Polaris. That's maybe after 1 AD. It's been aligned. Maybe if you take Angkor Wat, if you take the temples of Orissa, if you take the Ujjain, the famous Mahakaleshwar temple. So they call it as the navel of cosmos. So, or maybe the center of Earth. And then we also have the temples of Somnath. We also have the famous religious sites in Saudi, and then we also have the Sun Temple in Abu Simbel. If you go the backside, you also have the famous temples of Mexico. That's been perfectly aligned. Now everything lies in same path, same line, perfect straight line, and then it's aligned to pole star. So the concept is that uh, people felt that there is something here in the pole star. That's they call it as afterlife location for Egyptians, and then maybe we call it as Dhruva Nakshatra, where the Shishumara or Kundalini chakra is located. So if I come here, right, on right hand side, you can just see the night sky. And then if you just expand, right, we call the Milky Way as Akash Ganga, and then we have the seven stars called as Ursa Major, called as Sapta Rishis, seven sages. And then they just move around this pole star. And then the central pole star, it's called as Shishumara. So we call it a Shishumara planetary system or Kundalini chakra. So that's basically the location of Shakti. Maybe 5,000 years back, when the pyramids were constructed. So we have one. So that was around 3000 BCE. So the Earth axis was pointing towards Tuban. So we have the Egyptian pyramid, right? So that was perfectly aligned to Tuban. So this location was afterlife location for Egyptians. And then we have the Sumerian ziggurats. So it is almost like the same pyramid concept. So it was aligned perfectly to pole star. And then same we have Indus Valley civilization, where in Harappa and Mohenjo-daro sites. So these structures were also aligned perfectly to North Star. The concept is simple. Almost all religion, right, that's basically identified the location of pole star as afterlife location or heaven, or maybe the location of Shakti. And then they felt that that is the center of universe or the navel of cosmos, and then all the other planets, sun, moon is moving around this particular pole star. Maybe I'll explain in next slide. We'll just understand how this was visualized, because it was a geocentric model. So now we are understanding the heliocentric model, wherein the sun is in center and then Earth is revolving around the sun. But maybe before Copernicus, all the religion, right, they were believing that it was a geocentric model, wherein the flat Earth concept, wherein there is an hill somewhere near North Pole, and then there is a hill somewhere near South Pole, and then all the basic planetary system, nakshatras, are moving around the pole star. So this was the concept, and then the climate gets changed because when the Tropic of Cancer, right, when the sun is near equator, we all know that it is the hottest place, and then the ocean gets evaporated, and then the rain falls mostly in the tropics. Either if you take Tropic of Capricorn, Tropic of Cancer, so the areas near tropics, right, they get the maximum rainfall, because that's where the penetration of heat is more, wherein the water evaporates, forms the cloud. The time it reaches towards the Tropic of Cancer, the air gets dried up, the clouds get dried up. Most probably it falls before Tropic of Cancer, just about 30-degree latitude from Tropic of Equator to Tropic of Cancer. So anything lying near Tropic of Cancer, right? So the air is dry. It's because the moisture is very low there, and then the air is dry. So we have deserts there, mostly maybe 30-degree latitude of Cancer, and below 30-degree we have mostly desert, like Thar Desert. Then we have deserts in Saudi, we have deserts in Africa, Sahara Desert. So similarly, if you go backside, you also find similar deserts near Mexico. But that was not the case when pole star was pointing towards Tuban, wherein the Tropic of Cancer was not the current Tropic of Cancer. It was mostly passing through the Indus sites, and then it was passing through the Sumerian ziggurats, and then it was passing near the Egypt. So if we just draw this same tilt, what Earth is revolving, right? So you find the small change in Tropic of Cancer. So as the Earth axis or wobbling happened, So the climate got drier here. Maybe the civilization, what we call as Iran Persian civilization, or maybe the civilization what was near Sumer, right? We call it Sumerian civilization, or the civilization of Indus Valley, and the civilization what was there, Africa, right? As the climate went dry there, people have to migrate because there was lesser rainfall. We also have a clear fact that the Indus Valley civilization was abandoned just because there was no rain. So rivers got dried up, and then they had to find the new places more near Gangetic Belt. And similarly, we have the same example in other locations. So as it went dry there, people had to migrate. So as they migrated, so they again have visualized the new pole star location. So I was talking about Tubon. The new pole star location was Polaris, and then they have done the same mandala concept. So this is more of a scientific background. So I'll just cover the mandala concept in next. Okay. Okay. So if you just observe near pole star, now currently it is Polaris. So you have this natural clock. So we have all the constellations. Maybe we have constellations in Hindu belief system we call as Nakshatras. So they are moving around the star. So we call it as Dhruvam Survey Pradakshinam. So it is nothing but the planets, the sun, moon, and the constellation that has been identified as the celestial deities is moving around or doing in circumambulation towards pole star. So that's the reason we have the concept of circumambulation in Hindu temples. It's there in almost all belief system, wherein they circumambulate 7 times with an idol or maybe stone kept in center. That's associated with the 7 stars, 7 nakshatras of the Saptarishis, Arsa Major. So we have this circumambulation, and then it's a natural clock. So the swastika is nothing but the circumpolar constellations. I'll just go back. Yeah, swastika is the 7-star Ursa Major constellation circumambulating the pole star. So if you come to next circle, we have the different planets that's been observed in night sky. Maybe it was about 7 planets, Saturn. Even Earth was, Sun was considered as a planet in geocentric model. Even Moon was considered as one of planet. Okay. So this is how the mandala concept has come. So it's there in almost all belief system, wherein there is center North Star that's called as the Kundalini Chakra or Shishumara planetary system, or the location of Shakti. It can be different in different religion. And then we have the swastika, Ursa Major, moving around North Star. And then next chakra is called as the planetary chakra, wherein we have visual planets like Venus. We have Sun was also a planet in Hindu belief system when it was a geocentric model. So we have Venus, Sun, Saturn, Jupiter. Jupiter is called as Brihaspati. We have Mars, and then we have Moon, and we have Mercury. So all these move again around the pole star. And then the next last chakra is the 28 divisions in zodiac. So there are 28 nakshatras. So normally we had 27 nakshatras, and then we added the final nakshatras called as Abhijit nakshatras. So they basically form 28 days of month. So if you consider observing towards pole star, and then this is what you can just visualize. In the moon, exactly takes 28 days. That is called as 28 lunar mansions. And then they move around or circumambulate around pole star. So we have a new moon. After new moon, it takes 14 days. And then we have again the waning of moon. So waxing and waning of moon. So total is 14 plus 14 is 28 days. So we in Hindu belief system we called as Shukla Paksha and then Krishna Paksha. That's 14 days and 14 days. And then we have the sun transit around 12 zodiac. So if moon is moving around the 28 nakshatras, so maybe if I take Ashwini nakshatras, so the moon is here, and then next day moon will be near Bharani, and the next day it will be near Kritika, and next day it is Rohini. So we also have a mythology that these are wives of moon, so that one day moon is with Ashwini, and next day moon is with Bharani, and then next day moon is with that was basically the Pleiades constellation, wherein there were six mothers of god called as Kartika, and then we have no Rohini Nakshatras. So we have different mythologies associated with all these nakshatras. And similarly, if you see the zodiac, right, so it will be 0 to 13 degree difference, and then the next day moon will be covering the next 13 to 26 degree. So it will be exactly 0 to 13 degree angle. Okay.
Worth observing something here, actually, Arvind, just to say something. So the left-hand side, the associated stars you see there, some of those names are not too far from the constellation name or zodiac name that you're more familiar with. So you can see, for example, take number 17, Anuradha is in Scorpionis. So that's actually Scorpio. Or Vishaka is in Libra, which is Libra. So these are the actual stars themselves, the individual stars, and they have their names. Sometimes they're not related to the actual signs. So number 14 and 15, for example, Dula, that's Libra, but the names of the stars are not associated in that way, but sometimes they are. So you sometimes can pick them up. You've got like at the top there, Aeretes, and so on down the bottom. I'll look at Aldebaran actually in my session. I'll give some focus on order number 4, Aldebaran and Rohini, when I come to mine, Arvind. But great stuff. Keep going.
Yeah, right. Thanks, Manoj. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So this is what I just different examples of temple architecture. So it is same for all religious structures. Wherein if you just observe any of Hindu temples, right? So we have the same divisions. So we have the 12 divisions. So that will be associated with sun transit. So maybe if I start from Leo, and then we have the 12 zodiac, which all are aware, right? Libra, and then different 12 zodiacs of sun. So they form the inner boundary. So outer boundary will be totally of 28. So if I take right 1, 2, 3, 4, so we have we'll be having 28 divisions, and then the inner will be 8. I'll just explain why it is 8. So it is called as Ashtadikpala. It means the guardians for 8 directions. And then the center will be the location of God. So he'll be sitting in lotus. So lotus will be of 8 petals. Normally, it is said to be the guardian of 8 directions. And then we have Kalasha that will be the top of every temple. So this is the sacred part of any religious structures. So Kalasha is the location of the pole star, North Star. This Kalasha will be perfectly aligned to the perfect north. So we have both moon channel and sun channel. So this is nothing but circumambulation, wherein in geocentric model, if you observe somewhere from Arctic region, right? So you can just find all the 28 nakshatras. We call it as 28 celestial deities, or maybe 28, 27 wives of moon moving around North Star. And then next we have the sun moving around the North Star, doing a circumambulation. And then the inner chakra will be having the planets, so 7 visible planets, again doing circumambulation. And then the final inner chakra will have Saptarishis, the 7 sages doing circumambulation. So basically, the circumambulation concept itself is the Mandala concept with the god, or maybe the location of Shakti is in center. So this is way the temple architecture is associated. We have most of South Indian temples. Take any temples, so it has to follow guidelines. They have to follow the mandala architecture with kalasha and stop that should be aligned to North Star. So any questions here? Okay. So the concept is same. I have just taken one of Japanese deities. I just forgot this name. It's a little difficult to spell out. So the concept is same. We have what is that? Moon in one hand, and then a sun in one hand, and then they have different weapons. Maybe the Sagittarius they call as Danu, or maybe the bow in one hand, and then we have the animal, right? This is Draco constellation. So the god is standing on Draco, and then as the location of constellation changes, we also have the vehicles of god changing. So one time we will be finding Leo, the god standing on lion, and then maybe next ritual will be finding gods standing on Sran. So all these constellations or the zodiac, right, as it changes, right? So we'll have the deities Vanas also changing, and then same as weapons, yeah. So the Ashtadikpala, what I mentioned, right, that 8 directions. So the center one, the lotus petal I just mentioned. So we have something called as Vastu Purusha or Yajna Purusha. So they are supposed to be the guardians of 8 directions. So 8 directions from North Star. So we pray because they are said to be the deities that will guard in the different direction. For example, North is guarded by Bera, and the north is guarded by Ishana, and then the east is guarded by Lord Indra, and then the southeast is guarded by Agni, Niruti, southwest, Varuna in west, so Vayu in northwest, and then Yama in south. So we basically have these 8 gods carved in any of Hindu temples that are supposed to be the guardian of 8 direction. Similarly, we have the concept of Ashtalakshmi, so the 8 source of wealth, wherein